Good morning. Our hand today is going to be Ace King. We are down to sixth hand. I'm in mid position. I open raise. That's pretty standard open raising range here. Button calls. Button's playing 24-4. When we look at his button stats, he hasn't 3-bet it. Had 10 opportunities. He has his VPIP is 24. Pre-flop, he's called 20%. So I think 20% range is probably about right. Maybe 21, 22. He didn't 3-bet, and it's one of those things where maybe he just hasn't had the hands. I'm going to go ahead and say Queens plus Ace King are hands that I think he probably would have 3-bet with. He's got 146 hands. No guarantee that he wouldn't have gotten them or would have been in a situation to actually 3-bet. 3-bet when he does get those. So I'm just going to go with 20%. Big blind calls. Big blind's playing pretty loose. His big blind stats 35 VPIP, pre-flop raises 5, 3-bets 3%. His pre-flop stats looking called 2-bets 37%, so it's going to be close to 35-40% range. I got 38% range here minus what I think would be raising ranges. I think we'll just do Kings plus Ace King. I think those are typical raising ranges here. So we've got three-handed, and the flop comes out Ace Queen Queen with 2 clubs. Villain 4 checks, and now it's on me. What do I do? So I think Villain's this first guy, he donks flop 9%. I don't think this is a board you're going to see anybody donking out. I think if it was ace, let's say 10-6, then maybe the donk could be a ace with a weak kicker. They're just doing it to see who's going to come along, who's representing the eights. But not here. I don't expect a donk. So I think 100% he's checking. Now it's on me. What do I do? So I think that when we look at our betting ranges, I do think we have queens in our range. So king queen, ace queen, queen jack. And while I'd like to think we could be betting these, I think we would smash the flop so hard that it's almost like it's better to check with all of our good hands and try to hope that somebody with like jacks or tens or maybe even ace jack, ace 10 takes a stab at it. I think personally that's what we're playing. So what I did was I checked here. I'm going to say we're checking probably all of our hands here. Let's get our boards. There it is. You can see I've got quads, full house, 3 of a kind. I think we could be betting 100% here. Queens are definitely in people's ranges, but I feel like it's probably better if we're going to be checking. I think we could check call with all of those. We could bet with this smaller. We could bet with those. So we're going to say ace 10s will be a check. I think kings are a check. Pocket pair below the boards are probably checks. You can see we're going to have some weaker hands. Maybe it's going to be 100% or close to 100%. I think we're going to see like a mixed strategy. I think a flush draw is just. I think we're just going to be checking here. 2-card backdoor flush draws could be bet, and I think that maybe that's what we're going to do. Maybe full house checks, quads checks, maybe. Oh, hold on. 3 of a kind we bet. We bet those pocket pair small aces. Right. We check pocket pair below the board. A lot of them no made hands. I think we're betting 2-card backdoor flush draws. Maybe even betting a gut shot. Maybe even a gut shot. 2-card backdoor flush draws. we've got some good hands. So we're checking maybe like 87%. We're betting 20%. That might be a range. We're going to check GTO. But I was kind of thinking, what hands? I think we hit it so hard that it's going to be hard for us. Well, it's going to be really easy for us just to kind of bet 100% because we do hit it so hard. But I think with checking, we can keep a lot of our big hands in, along with having some draws. Villain 2 bets. So I think once everyone checks, his fold c-bet was 43%. This is one of the reasons why I wasn't quite sure if I should just go ahead and bet here. He does tend to call a bit, but then when you see like turn stats, it's like he's calling with a hand and then calls down. Or at least his starting range is pretty good. We're going to go to the flop. So he floats 1/3% of the time, so 1 out of 3. What kind of hands do I think he's going to be betting? I do think probably top pair, probably flush draw. We're going to say the gut shots, 2-card backdoor flush draws are going to be checking. He might be taking a stab, so I think top pair, 3 of a kind, full house. Maybe pocket pair below the board, taking a stab. No, we're going to do this. We're not. We're going to be top pair plus is what he's betting. Next guy fold, so he didn't have anything, and now it's on us, and I called. So now that we checked, what are we going to be calling with? We're calling with all of these. Of course, we're not calling with the made hand. We're going to call with the flush draw. I think we're going to call with the 2-card backdoor flush draw. We're going to call with kings, and we're probably not going to be calling pocket pair below the board. I think that's going to be a hand that we drop off. So it's about 50% check called. We see the turn of a jack of hearts. It's on us. We already checked, so I do believe we check 100% here. Villain checks behind. What is he going to check? So we had already called. I think full house bets. I think quads bets. I think it straight bets. 3 of a kind could be checking here. Could be checking. Afraid that I have, a monster under the bed. I think top pair is probably just going to be checking here. So I think 3 of a kind bets. I think 3 of a kind bets for value. There's a flush on the draw. There's a possible straight on the draw. Now he could check if he's scared that I have the straight, and that's always a possibility. But no, I think he bets. Top pair probably checks. All of these weak hands check. Flush draws, open enders, gut shots. So 2-card gut shots. What are these? Yeah, King Jack, Ace 10, Jack 10, Ace 10. We don't want those queens in there. Just like our flush draws, we got everything here. Just make sure we don't have those queens don't show up. All right, so 72% checks. So we should be ahead of his checking range at this point. 5 of the diamonds doesn't help, and I think at this point we could bet to try to go for some value, but if we bet, I think we give him a reason to fold like his jacks if he hit a jack, or maybe ace 5, ace 4. He bets half pot. So I do think we're again checking probably 100%. He bets. What hands is he going to bet? I think he's going to be betting. Try to get some value from top pair, probably some straight. definitely a straight to get some value. Maybe not all, so maybe something like that. In which case, when we look at it, we're going to be behind. We need to be good 33% of the time, even if we screwed up and he has a few more, and he has a few more like ace, like ace 10, ace 9 hands, then we've got aces and queens with the king kicker is kind of what we're looking at. We've got a good kicker, so I think we're bluff catching here. So I did call, and villain shows queen 8 at diamonds, and I don't think I had this in his starting range. So if we go back and add it, it's going to increase the chances that he has trips. And we didn't really think about it, but we assumed that with the queens he would have bet those again on the turn, and he checked. So it was one of those, maybe he got spooked. So we didn't get it. Let's check GTO. I'm not going to update the range with this queen 8 just yet, because we already ran it. So just in a normal situation, what do we do? Are we checking? Are we betting? I've got ace king off, and sure enough, we are leaning towards checking now. So 85%, we're looking at 21% bet, 22% bet, 78% check with ace king on this board. We are betting king, queen, and queens. We're betting some queen jacks. We're betting trips. We're betting quads, which I think was a little shocking. And then we're tossing in some of these small pocket pairs just to kind of balance. A couple of flush draws. Okay, so I was basically on the right track. This board wasn't particularly, it was decent, but we smash it so hard that I don't think it gives us a whole lot of opportunity to bet and have a balanced betting and a checking range. So we're gonna have to do one or the other. We have to bet, way too frequently, or check, way too much of our range. And in this case, I think checking is probably okay. And this is what GTO is recommending. So we check. Villain bets. Villain should be betting with ranges of hands. I don't think he has quads. And then when we look at it, we are calling with like our aces, top pairs. We're calling with kings. All the hands that I expected to call with. Jack of Hearts comes up. Again, we're going to be checking basically 100% here. Villain checks behind, so he's supposed to be betting his queens again. He didn't. He checked. So now that brings us to the river decision. Once he checks, now we can lead out. So according to GTO, we kind of messed up. We should be leading here. Once he checked and showed weakness, we should be betting. If we bet, what kind of hands are going to be calling us? So if we bet, I guess he's calling with some king jacks, king queens, some small aces, calling with trip fives. I'm not really sure why we would be kind of turning our hand into a bluff. I'm not sure, because if we bet, we're expecting that if called, we're going to be good 50% of the time, and I just don't know if we're going to be good that percentage. We're betting those as a bluff. And he's calling with some of his weak pairs, a couple, his top pair hands he's calling, so that's where the kickers are coming in. So I guess frequency-wise, he'll have about 50% we can beat. About 50%. So if we say 4 combos versus almost 3 combos, so that's why they think it's gonna bet. So GTO kind of messed up that bet, but I kind of disagree with it. Mathematically, yeah, but are these players really going to call with a weak pair? I don't think so. Are they going to call with a top pair? I think they're going to be hesitant. to do that, and I didn't think he would have a whole lot of those queens. So let's add it. He had queen diamonds, so if he had queen eight of diamonds, he's playing probably a looser range than what we expected here. Maybe all of these suited kings too. Let's add that up. Yeah, we'll probably be done with that. So what's 25.5%? Okay, we can do that. So what I'm going to do is rebuild the tree, and we will run the solver, and we will be back to see what it says. All right, we're back. So we do have slightly higher c-bet frequency. You can see that our ace king's betting about 40%, 60%. So our check wasn't too bad. We can still bet this. We did check. Villain's supposed to be betting all his queens, so when he bets, we're still going to be calling. So that's good. Once we check 100% as GTO. Villain should be betting all of those. He didn't. So, but just based on standard player, when he checks, then we're supposed to be leading out here, 53% of the time. Basically, because he's going to be calling with some of his kings, his jacks, and 10. So I think with this loose range, yeah, that's probably about right. But we know that he calls with those, so I think he must be just scared that maybe I hit the straight or something like that, or that I have queen with better kicker. So maybe he's going to be like queen 10 checking here. Some of those. So let's add those as a check. Let's run the solver and see what it looks like. All right. So we changed it. So we checked. He's going to check. If he bets, we are going to be calling. I just kind of wanted to go through that as I thought about it. So, he checks behind. Are we still betting? No, we're no longer betting if we think he's going to have that queen. And as I said, some players get spooked. I would have assumed he would have bet with the queen again. But, if he's got queen 9, queen 8, he could be scared that I have king queen in my hand, or possibly even queen jack, and I just filled up. So if we have that in his range, then it does look like we're going back to a check for the ace king. We've got ace of spades, king of hearts. So ace of spades, king of hearts is basically 100% check. If we had king of clubs, we could bet because we block some of the flushes, especially like king queen or king jack of clubs, king 10 of clubs that are likely to call. So we could bet those because maybe he has a weaker flush and just kind of folds out. I guess that would be true. But anyways, once we account for him having that queen 8, then I think it becomes our river. Instead of having a river lead, it'll be a river check. And if we check and he bets, he's got all of those hands, then yeah, then we make a call. So I think I'm happy with this hand. We didn't get his read on here, so I think what we're going to have to do is just kind of add a note. Call MP RF5 from button with queen 8 diamonds. He bet ace, queen, queen. Ace clubs, queen spade board. Checked behind on turn. Just to kind of let us know that he flopped trips. He bet, but then he checked behind on the turn. So add that note. All right, so hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, look tomorrow for another hand.